Hey guys, my name is Matimio, and today the new Blackout DLC has just arrived in Battlefield Hardline, and while I would say that overall it's a solid piece of content, I must admit that I did leave it a little disappointed. When I first learned about this, I was incredibly excited about this DLC because it looked like Visceral was going to be giving us a unique experience in bringing night combat to Battlefield Hardline. The way that they described these maps was that you needed to rely on the slimmest sliver of light to be able to take out your enemy. They are also bringing in night vision goggles. I was putting two to two together here, and I kind of went on a limb and was like, oh my god, Visceral is actually taking the plunge, and they're going to be bringing us a true night combat experience in Battlefield Hardline. Just after 5 minutes, though, you quickly realize that that is not the case whatsoever. The night vision goggles, for example, while in a few select situations they can be beneficial, I will give it that. There was one time where I saw an enemy recon out in the distance, and normally if I didn't have the night vision goggles on, I would have no idea that he was there. But for the most part, it hampers your vision. Like, it would actually say it is a deterrent for you to be able to see what is going on in front of you. Here is a prime example. I'm running around inside, and as soon as I turn off the night vision goggles, everything becomes like almost clear as day. I mean, there are some darker spots to the map, but it's like, why am I even using this thing? And while I will give it to them, they are slightly darker than the normal vanilla version of their night maps in Battlefield Hardline. Like, those maps are just the illusion of darkness, but I think that's why I was disappointed. Like, going into it, I think I had just too high of an expectation. I thought that they were going to be bringing us something special, and they just kind of just brought us a reskinned version of maps that we already play on. That said, though, when I did get past my preconceptions and I got past this disappointment, in general, this is a really solid free DLC. The maps themselves are gorgeous. When you're running around in the insides of Bank Job, running down the hallway, and you see the spotlight going through the window, it looks fantastic. When you're on Backwoods and there is the sunset out in the distance and the light is shining through the trees, it also looks phenomenal. Like, these maps look gorgeous, and I really have to give a tip of my hat to the art department because they went above and beyond for this free DLC. Not only that, but they've also added in some interesting new gadgets into the game. We already looked at the night vision goggles, which admittedly are fairly lackluster, but they also added in a fire mask that reduces the damage of Molotov grenades. I realize from a reality standpoint, it doesn't make a lick of sense whatsoever, but from a gameplay standpoint, it adds in a new dynamic. I cannot tell you how many times this has happened to me, and I'm sure it's happened to you guys a lot, where you want to play the objective, you want to push up onto the enemy, but there's like a million of these Molotovs in front of you, and there's no way for you to actually push forward. It's really obvious on a game mode like Blood Money. When you're trying to get the money, you're trying to play the objective, and then all of a sudden 5,000 Molotovs descend upon you from up above, and the entire objective is on fire for about 5 minutes. It gets a little bit ridiculous. And so now that they've added in this new accessory, you have a way of countering it. And while I don't know if it's going to completely replace the meta, I don't know if it's going to make the Molotov grenade completely obsolete, I'm glad that they added it on in there because personally, I think it is an interesting counter. They've also added in 2 new weapons. There is the newer version of the RO933 assault rifle and then the M11OK5. I can't tell if they're amazing or not, or if they're going to be a competitive pick on the battlefield. You gotta put more time into it, and since I've only spent a couple of hours in the game and not all of that was using these new guns, I have no idea if they're going to be a top pick. I will say, though, that it's nice that there is more weapon diversity, especially for a game that has been starving in that department for quite some time. I don't think adding new weapons into the mix is going to be a bad thing. And so, if you wanted new guns, you wanted something new to play with, then this new DLC is going to be right up your alley. Speaking of weapon diversity, and something that I've been impressed by is that it looks like a wider array of weapons are effective on the battlefield. This was not the case when the game released. I mean, if you guys remember, if you wanted to be competitive, there was like 4 guns that you could choose from. I was running around with the new F2000. I was running around with the new FAMAS. I switched over to the M16A3, which was like the dominant weapon when the game released, expecting to do amazing. And while it's still good, I didn't feel like it was that higher tier. It didn't seem like I was just ruining because I was using that specific weapon. And while there might be some Battlefield Hardline veterans that will disagree with me, maybe I'm completely off base, I will admit that I don't play this game as often as I used to, but at least according to my gameplay and according to my experience, I was able to use a lot of the weapons that are in the game right now and still be effective. And so I gotta give it to Visceral for sticking with it, trying to balance it out, and make more guns fun to use. But overall, while I will say that I am still disappointed because I wanted true night combat, you guys know me, I love the concept of it, and I love it in other video games that do it well. In general, this is a fun piece of content. It's completely free, you don't have to spend a dime, you don't have to do anything to get these new guns other than unlock them. And so if you're looking for something to do in the next couple of days before all of the crazy amount of new games, like, oh my god, I cannot wait for Fallout 4. I'm actually really excited for the new Call of Duty Black Ops 3. If you're waiting for those new games to come out and you want something new to do, I highly recommend that you check out this new content. But yeah, guys, that was about it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. Give me your thoughts on this new DLC. Are you liking it right now? Is it nowhere near enough to get you back to playing the game? Let me know down below. But yeah, until tomorrow, have a good one and take it easy.